Yo, what's up, people? How you doing, man? This is Mr. Arash, the glorious man. Yeah, man. Even if nobody believes in you, you gotta believe in yourself, man. That's all that matters. That's what it matters. Because guess what? Those things are variable. They don't stand around. You know, if you want to fix your mindset and your belief in yourself based on what other people, the image they perceive of you, you're not going anywhere. Anyways, today is September 29th, 2018. Bro, man, if you saw my previous video, I started off saying about my problem, basically, and all that. Hey, man, I want to make a simple thing for you. Just a few facts here I want to throw in, which is, I think, if you guys get to see this video and listen to what I'm saying, you kind of capture how painful that is for a man or a woman to be, who has conditions like I do or similar to mine, and for that reason happens to be homeless. How is it like to be out there, and how none of these supposed, better said, accommodations or ways that society facilities, or if you want to think there is such a thing out there that they have provided, is of a benefit. Okay. Funny is that none of these things are particularly not my words. Particularly, you will hear these words. I've heard these from many other people themselves. Funny, I just had a conversation with another guy. He said he's so scared of government. He doesn't want to get Social Security. He doesn't want to apply for Social Security. That's how he's fucking scared of the government. You go think about that. Now, I have the same exact thing too. But at some point, I had to sort of like more or less mentally suspend that. Now, funny, the second now I'm saying that, I really feel like shitty way. But the thing about it is that because here's the thing, I applied for Social Security, and after like about 1 year pretty much, finally I got it. Now they suspended it again. I have no idea, even though the condition I have is really kind of totally qualifies you as, really, I hate to say it, but somebody who permanently needs this money, you know what I mean? And I don't know what's the problem. They had this one other time happen. I fixed that. I sent them forms. I sent them my doctor's names and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? The woman, 2 doctors that I've seen, basically, they have my records basically from the hospital. I don't know what is going on. Anyway, they suspended it, and I don't live at my sister's house. Apparently that's what happened. The woman who actually is working on my case, my sister sent me one letter basically, and the letter said that the woman who wrote the letter, or the man who wrote the letter, said I'll be asking you for some documents. It's very important that you, in a timely manner, fill them out and send them back. My sister, I don't know, she loses the mail, she doesn't get them, she misses them. I don't know what is going on. So anyways, it ended up getting suspended. I don't know what these forms are, what the reason for it. I don't understand, because, you know, once you qualify, supposedly you should be getting this thing. But that's another story. Here's what I want to tell you, man. Listen, man, I'll make it simple for you. You know, in case you don't know, man, there's this thing called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And the word doesn't really quite explain what exactly and how this is like. Basically, it's a very devastating possible condition that can occur to you. That's one thing that's simple I can say. I mean, you have no idea. Basically, traumatic things that be based on your hypersensitivity. As you become hypersensitive, things that to other people basically might not be that traumatic, or rather be very passive, to you become traumatic because you're very sensitive, hypersensitive. This is a part of it. And over the course of time, simple said, these things accumulate further and further and further, and simply said, they will reoccur in your head through flashbacks, or through even not even particularly that thing, reminiscent things that resemble that thing. You know, like, I make it simple for you. I hate to say that, believe it or not, man. Speaking of being a franchise, like a franchise is the most awful thing that can happen to me, man. This whole concept of franchise, because when I had a bad experience at one store, I feel like, you know, that's how it is. Every other store of that same business, to me, that would carry the same trauma to me, and I can't walk into that store either. I can mention to you, and it started off with one store like Dunkin' Donuts, then it went up to Denny's, then it went to Arby's, you know, so many places. Basically, you don't even know what I want to tell you, man. You have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, man. So, it's a very, very awful thing. The worst part is that nobody gets you. The people who get you, and they might see you reacting to it, they just say, oh shit, that motherfucker's off the hook, stay away from him. So, as a person who's actually having a problem and, you know, is suffering, needs assistance, not only you don't get you don't get any help or thing, but actually people, you know, they leave you alone, they strand you, and freakishly you get deprived of any kind of a help and assistance that you need to get. And that kind of stands really with even the medical professionals. I'm not even simply talking about just random people on the street that are like the pussies or bitches who are like, oh shit, I want to stay from that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? No, man, what I'm trying to say, so kind of, this is the reason why a lot of people, like, you know, to begin with, we're not talking about the condition of shelters, okay, or the places that they have, or things like that, where people can go and perhaps get some kind of, you know, place to rest or something like that. To begin with, they cannot go there because once something happens there, they don't feel safe, or they don't feel, you know, it becomes just agony and misery. It doesn't make sense to anybody's head to wanting to go through the same exact shit that you just suffered. Why would you want to go to the same place to have the same misery happen to you? That doesn't even make sense. What kind of sane person would do that? But that's how it is. So you're always kind of, you know, migrating like a snowbird from one place to another, and that's how it is. So, yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell you. The other thing I want to tell you, speaking of reminiscence, okay. To those of you who don't know, you know, typically in America, the police cars happen to be American-made cars, that is Ford, Chevy, things like that. Mainly speaking, they're either Dodge Charger, Ford Fusion, used to be Crown Victoria. Here's what I want to get. This is the part that really hurts, man. There's so many on this country that they drive this kind of fucking car, and to them apparently it doesn't occur that by any means this might be a bother or a harm to anybody. But you don't know, you're fucking with people's head, man. You don't know how you're fucking, literally you're torturing people's soul by buying and driving such a car, man. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, you know? To you, it sounds very simple. The other thing, this fucking lunar light, this moonlight, you know, headlights that people have instead of having like a sunlight headlight, you know what I mean? This is another thing. This is another awful shitty thing that you can do to people, man, by driving a vehicle that has that kind of a thing on it. You know, there's so many, you know, I don't know how to say it. You know, so many things. You have this company like Mission Barbecue that, for instance, you know, sells barbecue and came up with this whole thing, Mission Barbecue, like, you know, kind of like a military mission as to make a perfect barbecue. I don't know, ribs, food, or something. I'm not vegetarian. I'm vegetarian. I've never been inside any of these things. Here's the thing. I don't have per se really a problem with the choice of the name for the company, Mission Barbecue. What I do have is that the ones that I've noticed that They have this massive, goddamn fucking huge military car, you know, massive truck, you know, standing outside their stores. Which, to me, you want to believe it or not, shit, I can't even talk right now because I feel like this fucking son of a bitch policeman sitting across the goddamn fucking... Okay, let me find out if it's really a police car. See, this is another thing. You feel like, you know, people can hear you. And I feel like he's gonna come after. This is the thing. You want to believe this or not, man. In this country, in America, the policemen, they're trained and be told to look for people who have problems. That is, they act weird or something, and they know it. And they can tell that this dude has some psychiatric problem, mental problem, basically, simple said. And they're trained to go and try to find a way to either lock him up in a psychiatric unit or lock him up in a prison. This is the reality of this country. Yes, and these are the reasons why people don't want to go towards government. That is, any branch of government, even a fucking post office. I don't want even to go to a post office. No, you don't know. I don't want to. I have not gotten on a bus in the last 10 years, man. You want to believe this or not? I have not been on the bus for the last week. Why? Because the buses are probably run by the government. The county, some kind of a shit, whatever crap that is running it. But so what I'm trying to get at here is that basically, hold on, I gotta find that. This motherfucker is the police car. No. Oh man, you don't know what they've done to my head, to our head, man. They fuck with you so hard, man. Literally, you're scared the shit out of these people, man. You don't know what I'm talking about, man. You only get it when you become one of us. And then it's too late. Then everybody thinks, that motherfucker is just bitching about his life and how shitty his life is and everything. And it's just a son of a bitch, basically. So anyways, okay, well, it seems like it's not a police car at least. Oh man, you know, I'm still standing in the car. I feel like he can hear everything I say. I mean, you don't know, man. You don't know. It's a good thing that you don't know. Simple as that, man. You know. Moving on. Moving on. Yeah, you have to always move on. Oh man, it's a very awful lifestyle. But I'm just trying to give you examples how, without any reason, in a most subtle way, that you might basically be like a fucking whatever. You know what I mean? You get fucked and you get basically tortured and abused in the most awful way. And nobody, it's basically what I call invisible, you know, scars. You know, you can't see it, you know, you get hurt and nobody gets it because it's an unusual, you know, phenomena in your head that unusually you react to it, and immediately people, what the message they get is that this guy's crazy. This guy's dangerous, stay away from him. He's acting weird. He's obviously either high on drugs or some shit or whatever. He's, you know, just one thing, don't go close to him. You know, they don't have a sense that, you know, how this thing is working. You know, they've heard something. Matter of fact, and speaking now, especially in the movies, in the media, and everything. Like for instance, you know, I read this fucking goddamn. No, in Quora, somebody puts a question. It says, why all the people who go on a rampage happen to have a psychiatric problem, or have mental illness? You know what I mean? This was a question. And the answer to that is that it says that, well, brother, that's not really the case. The thing about it is that, obviously, funny enough, either you're not from America or you're really a typical stupid American who doesn't know shit about anything about your country. You know, that is, when somebody goes on rampage and does some crazy shit, the defense team, the defense lawyer of that man or the woman, immediately what they try to say is that they try to pull this whole thing saying that, okay, well, he has a psychiatric problem, he takes some medication or took some kind of medication. Somehow they're trying to vindicate him by the means of saying that it was actually something done out of control and he was not basically due to a induced thing or some kind of extenuating, I don't know what's the word exactly it would be for this. Why am I trying to go up? Oh, okay. So anyways, this is why they try to do this shit. Anyways, so yeah. So yeah, man, you know, there's so many different things, and really honestly, I want to talk about a solution here. But I said this a million times. Number one, you know, you don't understand. The other thing about the shelters is that maybe I'm not talking about the condition of the shelters, okay? Everybody who, if you happen to be in a shelter, you know it's the fucking shittiest place, okay? What I want to say is that, let's say it's even the most majestically, like a castle, so beautiful place or all that. Listen, man, it's all about a factor of humiliation. People feel humiliated going there somewhere that actually, you know, puts them as officially makes them look like a homeless person. Do you get what I'm saying, man? Instead of fucking doing that kind of thing, if you say, bro, what, you know what, we just charge you $1 a night. And if you have it, perfect, come on in. If you don't have it, perfect, come on in. We make a loan for you. We put a loan for you. We bill you for it. How's that? If you do that, man, people will show up. Because it's not called homeless shelter. It's called discounted or, you know, basically subsidized. I don't know. Something. I'm serious, man. No, I have never gone to the homeless shelter myself. And I don't want to think about my past event for one fucking reason, because I'd never wanted to be labeled like that. I have never, for that reason, been to the homeless shelter, no matter what happened to me. This is one thing I have never done. The other part of the story is that as much as they try to force me, I mean, this situation is really awful. They fuck with your head so bad. Is that basically, I mean, yesterday I was telling you, I've made this recording, I was in Palm Beach County, and there's a sign says, on the bus stop, says, if you're not waiting for the bus, you are loitering and you could be arrested. Now, you have somebody like me who has a, you know, psychiatric problem, and he's automatically, if he thinks that he's doing something that is illegal, and the last thing he wants is to be approached by the policeman, and he telling him that, oh my god, by the way, you're a criminal, in more subtle way, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather fucking, you know, lay down on the side of the street in the sun, which I did, which is exactly what I did, you know. And this rarely happens, but a woman actually happens, she came up to me, and you know, this one thing is a problem, and I noticed I don't belong to a human race. Even this woman, she seems to have what in my language, Persian, we say khurde shishe. Somebody who has a little fucking, you know, dirty edges, or really sharp, really cutting edges into itself that can hurt you, you know. Humans, apparently, most of them, they seem to have a really bad evil nature, basically, you know. I'm not saying I'm a god, I'm a god of perfection, I'm a goodness, or no, I'm not gonna say that, but really I've seen people. Anyways, no, the thing about it is that she comes to me and she stands like, she says hey something, and I look over her, and she has this whole look in her face that to me looks like a look of a person who has a suspicion and thought like that. I'm like, Mama, go ahead. It's okay. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. Spit it out. Tell me what's going on. And then she starts talking, and she goes like, why are you sitting in the sun? You're gonna get burnt. I said, Mama, you know what? You obviously you're not from this country. She said, no, I'm not from this country, but I've been living in this country for 30 years. I said, well, then obviously you've never been on the street, or you never been homeless, or you don't know how that kind of life is. You know. I said, you know, do you see that bus stop right there? I saw that bus stop. I thought I found myself a heaven. I went there and I wanted to sit down over there. And all of a sudden I saw it says that sign that if you're not waiting for the bus, loitering. And I'm this person who is just as honest as shit, because of the fact that before anybody else can judge, I feel guilty about being blind. If I'm not waiting for the bus, I will never get on the bus, because the buses in this country, at this America, are run by the government, the state government, local government, whatever crap that is. So I will never be waiting for the bus. So, matter of fact, now, be honest with you, after another incident that happened, I really can't even sit at a bus stop. I just have to get myself a chair and fucking try to, you know, find the little spots as far edgy away from the edge and the curb, and if I can, and try to just get some sleep. Yeah, man, believe it or not, this is the life that I have. And in the morning I wake up totally traumatized, feeling like if possibly out of a million cars that throughout that entire nighttime that I was sleeping there could have passed by, one of them could have just somehow, you know, derail, basically, you know, swerve or something, and could hit me, and you know what could happen. This matter of fact happened. Happened to be a witness to that. To read it, to see on news. Some man was standing actually by the bus stop. Apparently this man was drunk, had a medical injury, was driving a truck, and he just basically swerves off and runs to the sidewalk, and this man standing, and kills him, and he gets killed himself too. This is the glory of our lives in America. Why would you want to make life so uncomfortable, something so subtle? Who gives a shit about it? Do you think people like to sleep outside? Do you think people enjoy it? Do you think if somebody really has the means of getting a job, do you really think there are that many people out there that they're so drowned into alcohol or drug addiction that simply can't pull themselves out? But by the way, they do a great job of panhandling, standing there. So it seems like they're halfway okay. You know? So they seem okay, and they do that. But no, obviously they're so fucked, and they're so drowned, and they're so deep fucked that they just can't pull themselves out of that kind of life. Come on, man, go fuck yourself, man. Seriously. No. You know what? A lot of homeless people, man, matter of fact, a few of them are kind of like that. And they get maybe money from the government. They get a paycheck. Maybe I don't know. Some fellows, I don't know what the fuck, man. But here's what I do know. A lot of homeless people, other than those specific group, they do take some kind of alcohol, because you know what? Living on the street is tough as shit, man. If you don't try to numb yourself somehow, you're gonna be facing somebody like me who obviously has a spirit that is not from this world, and that is the only reason he's able to sustain and live this world. Otherwise, I can totally understand why they do this shit. Simple said like that, man. No, man, try to create places, communal places, parks. Oh, and this, speaking of a park, there are places here in Miami County, Dade County, basically Broward, even West Palm, where there are parks. You know why I can't go sleep in the park? Because I'm so fucking scared that I think someone's gonna assault me, it's gonna kill me or some shit. The only place that I feel comfortable sleeping is somewhere that I'm right on the site, in a public, right on the street, basically. That is right off the sidewalk, somewhere here, there, where there are a lot of people. Either they're passing by, they're walking by, they're driving by, some kind of crap like that. Park would be a most devastating place for me, man. That's another thing to say, man. Brother, here's what I'm trying to say. You need to do something substantial about this. You know, make it okay for people to sleep somewhere in the corner of the parking lots of stores. Create a little spot for them. In the bus stops, doing it. You don't know what you're doing. You're putting such a massive pain and suffering on some people because of their conditions and their hormones that are they're so high. They experience everything on a very, very highly traumatic level, and you don't know what you're doing. Please, if you listen to this, do something about it. Bye.